All right, let's get right into it. We are tackling one of the biggest, most common questions in the tech world. What does it actually cost to build a mobile app? If you've ever had that light bulb moment, that great idea for an app, then this is for you.
So you have an app idea. Awesome. The very next thought that pops into your head is almost always this one. It doesn't matter if you're a founder just scribbling on a napkin or a huge company looking to expand, everyone asks this question. And it sounds so simple, right? But the answer? Well, that's where things get complicated.
And boom, there it is, the big, kinda scary number. You're looking at a price range that goes from a new car all the way up to a luxury home. That is a massive, intimidating gap, isn't it? How are you supposed to budget for that? So let's make some sense of it.
Because honestly, a number like that without any context is completely useless. It doesn't help you at all. So that's our job today. We're going to tear that price range apart piece by piece and build a blueprint so you can figure out where your idea actually fits. Okay, first things first. We have to talk about scope. This one concept, more than anything else, is what's going to determine your final bill. Getting this part right is, well, it's absolutely crucial. I love this analogy because it just hits the nail on the head. You wouldn't walk up to a builder and ask, how much for a house, right? They need to know if you want a tiny cabin in the woods or a sprawling mansion. An app is exactly the same. So, what are you building? A simple tool just to prove an idea, or a massive platform ready for millions of users? Your answer changes everything.
So, let's drop the vague words like simple or complex. A much better way to think about this is in stages, kind of like the stages of growing a business. Each of these steps represents a different level of ambition, a different set of features, and, of course, a different level of investment.
Okay, check this out. This is where it gets really practical. A validation build, your digital cabin, is all about proving your idea works and doing it fast. You're looking at maybe 12 to 30 grand. But as you climb that ladder towards a scale-ready product or an enterprise platform, you're adding heavy-duty stuff like intense security, real-time data, maybe even some AI. And that's what sends the timeline and the budget way up. So take a look. Where does your idea fit on this spectrum right now?
All right, so let's say you've got a handle on your scope. What's next? Well, there are two other huge decisions that are going to seriously shape your budget: the technology you build it on and the people you hire to do the building. This is a classic tech dilemma. On one side, you have native. Think of this as the high-performance custom-built option. You get the best speed and all the slickest features, but you have to pay to build two separate apps, one for iPhones, one for Androids. On the other side, cross-platform. This is the build once, use everywhere approach. It's usually faster and cheaper upfront because you share one code base, but you might hit some performance limits down the road.
And here's what that choice looks like in actual dollars. For a basic app, you can see going cross-platform can save you a pretty significant chunk of change. As things get more complex, all the costs go up, but that saving is still there. Oh, and here's a little insider fact. Building for iOS can sometimes be a bit cheaper than Android, simply because there are way fewer iPhone models to test on than the thousands of different Android devices out there.
And now for the people part. And whoa, this is where the numbers get really wild. Just look at the dramatic difference location makes. The hourly rate for a developer in the US can easily be more than triple the rate for a developer with similar skills in India. This one factor can have a massive impact on your total project cost.
And when you translate those hourly rates into full project budgets, the difference is just staggering. Building a complex app in the US could run you over $250,000. That same app, built by a team in India, might cost around $60,000. This is why your team's location is one of the most significant financial decisions you'll make.
Okay, so you've defined your scope, picked a platform, and you're thinking about a team. But where does all that money actually go? Let's pop the hood and look inside a typical budget.
This chart might surprise you. The actual coding, the development, the part we all think of as building the app, is often only about half of your total budget. A huge chunk goes to UI/UX design to make the app look good and feel intuitive, and another big piece goes to testing to make sure it actually works. And don't miss that yearly maintenance fee. Apps need constant care, kind of like a car.
And we can get even more specific. It's really important to know that not all features cost the same. Basic user logins and profiles, they're relatively inexpensive. But the moment you start adding complex things like monthly subscriptions or intelligence features with AI, the cost can start to climb really fast.
And remember, you're not just hiring one person. A quality app is a team sport.
It needs a designer for the look and feel, a back-end developer for the servers, a QA engineer to find all the bugs, and a product manager to steer the whole ship. Each one of those roles adds to the monthly bill.
Finally, let's talk about what happens after your app hits the store. Your spending doesn't stop at launch. In a lot of ways, it's really just beginning.
These are the costs that often catch founders completely by surprise. Your server fees go up as more people use your app. You have to spend money on marketing or no one will ever download it. And every single time Apple or Google releases a new operating system, you have to pay for updates and bug fixes. Ignoring these is just a recipe for failure.
So how do you keep these costs in check? It's all about being smart. Start with an MVP, a minimum viable product, to test your core idea before you go all in. Use third-party tools for things like payments or maps so you don't have to build them from scratch. And this last one might sound strange, but invest in experts. Trying to cut corners with cheap talent almost always leads to bigger, way more expensive problems down the road.
So, we're back where we started, at the construction site, but now you have the blueprint. The cost of an app isn't some unknowable mystery. It's a series of choices you get to make about your ambition, your audience, and your priorities. The question is no longer just, how much does it cost? The real question is, what exactly are you trying to build? Now you have the tools to answer that.